You guys know the next returning raid for next season is a very important topic here on the channel, and I've been spending, time after time trying to find credible information to back a claim to which returning raid it will be. Now, with a couple weeks ago, we found out that the new Network Vex map and a raid from Year 2, Scourge of the Past, was in the API. So, like many, like me, I would draw a claim saying that Scourge of the Past was going to be the returning raid for next season. And yet some may still believe that claim. I don't really see the same way as I used to, because there's been credible leakers pointing out, like Liz, that it will not be Scourge. So it kind of destroys that whole video in the process. So now I'm trying my best to try to find more leaks on it and more credible sources. And with that, Bungie Leaks posted a source that, again, is unconfirmed, but it actually goes in favor of Crota's End, with new mechanics being the returning raid for next season. Now, we are going to talk about it in today's video, but I want to say one thing real quick. With this video being a bit controversial, as many would love Wrath over Scourge, many would love Wrath over Crota, vice versa, I'm going to post a poll in my community page. I would love either you finish this video, or before you watch all of the rest of it, that you go there and you let me know your thoughts and you pick an option, because I want to put another video, like a sequel to this, and I want to react to you guys' comments. I want to hear you guys' thoughts more often here on the channel, so hopefully if you don't mind going to do that, that would mean a lot. But other than that, let's get right into it. Now, this source, again, is unconfirmed, and Bungie Leaks is kind of hesitant and optimistic about it, but we're going to go right into it. Now, the basic of it is that Crota's End would return next season, and it would have new mechanics. It wouldn't be the exact same. As you guys know, Crota's End was to many, an easy raid. It could be easily soloed, and it wasn't just, a harder raid like Kingsfall, which you can't really solo. So, with people in mind looking at Crota to return, people think it will be coming as a dungeon, but it looks like if this is to be true, it will become a raid again. Now, the Oversoul Edict Pulse Rifle would be returning, which is nice. As you guys know, the 6 raid weapons would be returning with a raid, and that's pretty nice to hear. We would have like a primary, a kinetic, a heavy, you get the picture. Now, as a new mechanic would be in the raid, it is quoted to be hard to describe on viewing, but basically something around, a new mechanic integrated into this raid. Riven's Heart style mechanic with passing around light while managing buff. Now let's talk about this. First off, adding a brand new mechanic and then returning the Riven's Heart mechanic into Crota's End would be awesome. I don't know which encounter they would fit it in, but if they were going to return those, things that they learned in the Last Wish into Crota's End, maybe people would like it. Maybe people won't. Time will tell. And does this affect the soloability of the raid? If you're going to need people to carry a buff around, to the very end, would that change it up? Because if you only have one person, would you not be able to do it? Again, time will tell. Maybe there's a cheese on it, I don't know, but it's fairly interesting on that front. Now, apparently, the director in the trailer calls it hot potato, and as well, the light passing buff is on all encounters. Now, I find this, very interesting, and of course, I think this is also something that's very similar to how raids are built today. So look at the last 3 new raids: Deepstone Crypt, Vow Disciple, and Root of Nightmares. All of them have buffs or some sort of mechanic that each other encounter kind of builds on top of. Deepstone Crypt, we had all these buffs that were built on top of until we got to, of course, Taniks, and then looking at Vow Disciple, same with Rolk, and then Root of Nightmares, we had all of the buffs that helped build up to Nezarec. I kind of feel like, despite it being a returning raid, Bungie likes this formula of how adding all these new things and then building on top of them as the raid progresses is something how a raid is supposed to be done, and I think Bungie is on top of that, despite it being a returning raid. Now, apparently the Crota encounter has been changed with something different with the sword. Keyword different. So I don't think Bungie might do the same old thing where you have to get the sword to battle Crota's shield down so you can do DPS. Maybe it will be used to maybe protect yourselves from maybe a Crota's attack, and it's probably not integrated too much into how DPS is used. I don't know. Fairly interesting, because the sword is really like the integral way how to do DPS to Crota. Maybe they'll just take it away and not really have a huge pivotal role with it. It might be something entirely different. Maybe that light buff will play a huger part in the final boss. Again, time will tell, but very interesting. Now, lastly, no confirmation on if Necrochasm is returning. Now, you guys know I love Necrochasm, and I know many of you want it and many of you don't want it, but looking at this front, we got Oshia Striga into the game. Is it really necessary to add Necrochasm into the game? You know, I wanted to return. We got Outbreak, we got Vex. Would it make sense to add all of them back? It's slim. It is very slim. I don't think maybe they will do it, and maybe they'll do something new. Maybe they'll bring the sword as an exotic. Maybe they'll make a legendary weapon the exotic. I don't know. You know, I would love it to return, but, you know, people have said with returning raids, maybe they'll only add new things to it. You know, I love that returning raid aspect, but maybe, you know, you have to make it a bit new because... And technically, Bungie might not add the Husk of the Pit RNG quest back into the game. Necrochasm was technically a quest exotic, and basically you had to start this quest by getting, you know, the Necrochasm white rarity to drop from a hive enemy. Would Bungie add that again? Maybe, but again, with Touch and Malice that we got this last year, it didn't have its quest when it was released in the Taken King all those years ago. It was an RNG drop, and it looks like if Crota's End or Wrath was going to return, despite the raid exotic what it was going to be, it would still be an RNG drop. I feel like Bungie wants to do that, and then the challenges in the Sealer or whatever, the Triumphs, would help the RNG drop chance. I think that's more of the role Bungie would go in, but again, time will tell. Let me know you guys' thoughts on this topic. Here we go. Love you guys.